I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kwadash. Double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule Great Millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Wa Abba Babal. So Daniel 6 is about Daniel being put in the lion's den. He was put in the lion's den twice, this time for one night, one day, and he was delivered, and Darius put forth a decree. All right, but it shows that the Elohim are not mocked. All right, the hopeful elect, no man can lay a charge against the hopeful elect and live. All right, so I'll just read it from the top. It says, verse 1, it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm, which this Daniel is an Israelite. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, which this is what's happening to the Israelites now. Esau's looking for reasons to destroy the Israelites, but they could find none occasion nor fault. For as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him, which Esau's doing a diligent search right now. All right, which Darius is not an Edomite. He was a Mede, but the Edomites are moving in that Babylonian spirit, which the kingdom of Babylon started with the Cush, the Hamites, Nimrod, and then it went to the Assyrian Babylonian kingdom, then the Medes, then the Persians, then the Greeks, then the Romans. All right, Darius is a Mede. All right, so let me go to Obadiah, verse 6. How are the things of Esau? Esau is the forefather of the so-called white race, the red devil that rules today, the wicked. This is why the world is in the wicked state that it is in. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So he's searching for iniquity in the Israelites so that he could put us to death. All right. And he's weaponized this technology, like the phones, the TVs, the refrigerators, the washing machines, the dishwasher, their surveillance technology against the Israelites, which he's trying to destroy us. All right. So back then, they were spying on Daniel, the other nations, and they were looking for a reason to bring him before the king Darius to have him put to death. All right. But there was no fault found in him. Verse 5 of Daniel 6. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his power, which our power is Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. All right, Yahweh is the Father, Yahushai is his Son, which we are going to be saved by his Son, Yahushai, when Yahweh gives that commandment. So this is what they plan to do with us in these last days pertaining to that microchip. They're going to make the microchip mandatory for buying and selling, and they're going to make it a crime to deny it unto death. It says here, let's see. Verse 15, Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, the system that we're living in today. It's a beast system. The beast man is the so-called white man, the wicked that rule the world. and they're in the spirit of ancient Rome, which they took the land by the sword. It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So they're setting up this system, and they're going to make it mandatory that you have an implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. All right. And if not, that you should be killed. So they're doing the same thing to us right now as they did to Daniel. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which is the microchip, the implantable microchip, which is an abomination for the Israelites to accept. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, which is in that chip. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, the so-called white man, the red devil the Bible speaks of. And his number is 666, 666, which goes back to the Greek alphabet, which the Greeks and Romans are Edomites, which today are so-called American and European. All right. And that number 666 goes into the cutting of your flesh with a needle to implant a microchip. All right. So they're trying to set us up to try to condemn us, just like what happened to Daniel in the past under Darius. All right. So it says in Daniel 6, verse 6, then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree, that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, so except for you, like they pretty much saying you, that no man could worship no other god or no other man but you, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Which these heathen, when they get in power, they have a God complex. Right now, Esau thinks he's God. All right? That's in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, which were being called by the name through the prophets. All right? It says that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. So this is why the prophets of Israel are standing on our feet, prophesying to the Israelites, telling them to repent before Yahweh sends Yahushua back. And the heathen see it, and it says, great fear fell upon them which saw them. Verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, which happened. We were abused so bad we forgot who we were. They show you in the movie Roots, where they were whipping Kuta Kente, and they told him his name was Toby. So this happened for generations. Read the William Lynch letter. So we forgot we were Israelites because of the suffering we had to go through. And now we're being caused to remember as it was prophesied. In captivity we are remembering. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, the so-called white man, the red devil, which is going into extinction, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. But you had Nero 47, the king of Babylon, say that he was the chosen one, because he thinks he is a god. All right? So these heathen, they think they're gods, but the Lord humbles them after they cross a specific line and they touched the kingdom of heaven, which is pertaining to the Israelites. All right. Just like Nebuchadnezzar, when he threw the three holy children of Israel into the fire, and what happened? He was made into a beast man, where he was in the fields on his all fours, walking around like a beast for 7 years. You see, so he was humbled. And when he came out of that, he said that Yahweh will humble all men. You know, he pretty much declared that in Daniel 4. Now it says in verse 7, Daniel 6, verse 7, all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of the lions, into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. So pretty much you can't stop it. Once it's put in place, you can't go back and alter it. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open, meaning he didn't hide it, in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power, Yahweh, as he did aforetime. So he didn't alter, even though he knew that he would be subject to death, which is faithfulness. Then these men assembled and found Daniel, which remember it was a plot against him, praying and making supplication before his power, Yahweh. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the sons of the captivity of Judah, which Judah, Benjamin, and Levi went into the Babylonian captivity after the northern kingdom. When the northern kingdom came out from the Babylonian captivity, they came to what you know as the Americas on Assyrian ships. And then the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, went into captivity under the Assyrian Babylonians. And then they went back into Jerusalem, starting with Zerubbabel. All right. It says, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So he prayed 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. So he was searching the laws, trying to find a way to alter it, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king can, oh, you know what just came to mind? I had this happen to myself. You know, I was applying for a job, and they had a law in their books that you had to shave your face. And I said, I won't shave my face. You know, and the guy liked me so much that he pretty much was telling the president of the company that they need to change the law for me, you know? And, you know, it made me think about Daniel. It made me think of how the Lord when you please the Lord, he'll even make your enemies at peace with you, and the Lord's going to make a way for us. Remember that. All right. We're not forsaken, though we're surrounded by enemies. We're behind enemy lines in captivity, even still today. All right. Under the Edomite, which is the so-called white race, the wicked that rule the world. All right. And the world is confederate with the Edomite against the Israelite, which the Israelite is the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian, according to biblical prophecy, which we've been scattered throughout the world. All right. But like it says that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. All right. So they're going to persecute us, some of us even unto death, but it's going to condemn them. All right. That's what you got to understand. It's going to condemn them, because blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. It says in verse 16, then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy power, whom thou servest, which is Yahweh, continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, so no man could break it but the king himself, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. And the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting, because he liked Daniel. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So he was troubled at what happened. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy power, whom thou servest, continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My power, Yahweh, hath sent his angel and has shut the lions' mouths. And this is why we overcome, because Yahweh has angels that encamp around us. All right. It says that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, which today we are innocent through the sacrifice of Yahushua. And also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. So he was innocent, but he was wrongfully accused, right, through the plot which the heathen that were around him really intended to try to murder him using the law. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his power, Yahweh. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So it backfired in their face. And it don't say, but really these could have been Edomites. You got to remember, when the Assyrian Babylonians, which were before the Medes and the Persians, took the southern kingdom into captivity, they had Edom with them. Remember Psalm 137, remember Edom, who said, raise it, raise it. You see? So these could have been Edomites that were plotting against Daniel, but the scriptures don't say. But Esau is plotting against the Israelites today, and they're trying to pretty much murder us. They're going to pass laws, All right, look at the Ice Cube and Ice-T program. They just murdered a Jake in the street in front of his children, and he was completely legal. He was completely lawful. But they're making laws to persecute us unto death. But Yahweh is going to deliver his elect through Yahushua, his son. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, which was bigger than America, men tremble and fear before the power of Daniel. Yahweh is our power, for he is the living power, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, which his kingdom pertaineth to the Israelites, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth, and it says, he delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. And that's why you're seeing signs in the heavens and in the earth. Yahweh and his son Yahushua is doing this as a sign of Yahweh sending Yahushua back. And it's going to come after they make that implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling, and then nuclear destruction of the wicked in their kingdom. All right, and it's going to be turned into a lake of fire, Babylon the great whore, a.k.a. America. All right, and it's going to be Yahweh's vengeance on the wicked for his people. He's going to avenge us by sending Yahushua back, which at that time he's going to save us from that second death, the nuclear destruction of the great whore. America's going to lose World War III and be turned into a lake of fire, nuclear fire. And it's already being set up because, they just killed that Jake that broke no law of America in front of his daughter. And there's a scripture that says, hear the prayer of the dead Israelites. So that Israelite, when he died, his spirit went before Yahweh and his son Yahushua. And now he prays to Yahweh and Yahushua to send justice on the earth, which comes through Yahushua. Yahushua is that justice that is coming to the earth. It says, who had delivered Daniel, which will also deliver the Israelites in these last days, from the power of the lions, which Esau is like a roaring lion. It says Satan is like a roaring lion looking for whom he may devour. It says, so this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian, which all these other nations, they were wiser than Edom. Edom is ruling today, the wicked, the so-called white race, and they're sons of fools. They're base men. They don't realize who they're fucking with. All right? They should just submit to us. They should put us in power. But instead, they put themselves in our land as counterfeits, those tiny top, big-nosed bastards in Ashdod, all right? And they make laws to try to murder us, which is going to backfire in their face, just like their ancestor, Haman, that built the gallows for Mordecai and the Israelites. They're going to be the ones that eat those nuclear missiles that they've developed in the intent of trying to fight Yahushua and the Israelites. It says in Galatians 6, verse 7, it says, be not deceived, our power is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. All right? So Esau's going to get what he deserves. The wicked are going to get exactly what they deserve. Isaiah 3, verse 11. I like it in the NLT. It says, but the wicked are doomed, for they will get exactly what they deserve. It's in Baruch 3, verse 4. O Yahweh Almighty, thou power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites. So they just murdered an Israelite, the Ice Cube program, right? Their Ice-T's, they murdered an Israelite. Now he's a dead Israelite. And he went to Yahweh and Yahushai in the spirit realm, and he's praying to Yahweh that he send Yahushai to avenge him. It says, and of their children which have sinned before thee, and not hearkened unto the voice of their power. For the which cause these plagues cleave unto us. And this is why we're in this situation, is because we sin, but Yahushai already paid for our sin. See, so there is no condemnation for them that are in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, and the Israelites that will know it by death and pain, right? They're going to get what they get, but they're still Israelites. So the Lord's going to hear them. He's going to hear them, and it's because when they die, they're going to go before him, just as when Cain killed Abel, and Abel went before Yahweh and begged for justice. You see, and Cain, right, that's why his skin was altered to so-called, they call themselves so-called white, but really it's red because they don't have no melanin. All right, they're the descendants of Esau, which was the reincarnation of Cain, and they're going to go into perdition. The so-called white race, they're going to be made extinct. All right, that's biblical prophecy. It says in Baruch 3 verse 5, remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, the Israelites, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. Which, that's why it says he's remembering the sins of the Israelites. I'm sorry, not the Israelites, the Edomites. Lamentation 4 verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz, which Uz is talking about a city of Babylon. America, the kingdom of Edom, is Babylon the Great. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. So what you've done unto us, you're going to actually drink from that same cup, slavery. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. That's why they're being revealed as PDFs. They're being revealed as the wicked, because they gave us the technology that was given to them, and they do it to try to incriminate us, but it's backfiring in their face. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, the monument of Israel that are repenting back to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. So the elect of Israel will not be deceived into taking that implantable microchip, the mark of the beast. It's going to fail. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins, which we're making public. We're publishing the sins of Edom, right? Like him trying to make us accept the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, which is an abomination for Israelites to accept. All right. And this is why he's remembering Edom, because he's remembering the Israelites. And remember, Edom crucified his son under Pontius Pilate. It says in Psalm 137, verse 7, remember, O Yahweh, the sons of Edom. Today they call themselves so-called Caucasian. In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, destroy it, even to the foundation thereof, which they did this under the Assyrian Babylonians. O daughter of Babylon, which is America, who art to be destroyed, which you will be destroyed. By nuclear missiles, your kingdom is going to be wiped off the face of the earth and turned into a nuclear lake of fire. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us, which he's going to avenge us. Revelation 18 and 20. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones, which you're going to go into slavery under us. You're going to come out of those bunkers outside of America that you're building, and those are to preserve you to go into slavery. And when we get you in slavery, we're going to pay you back for 1,000 years for what you've done unto us in slavery. All right? And really, you have much to pay for. All right, all the way back to this being the serpent in the Garden of Eden, which deceived Eve. All right, you have many, many generations, which you're going to die many times over in slavery under us, because you're going to have to pay us back for all that you've done unto us. And we give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha Rakak Quadash, double honors unto the apostle elders, which taught Israel the truth, taught me the truth. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Wa Abba Babal.